sunny. Happy Friday.
And it's Friday.
Yay! Except it's actually not sunny here. It's very grey.
And it's not here either, but hey, it's not raining. We're all right.
Welcome, Abi. So lovely to have you here.
Yes, I'm here. I'm working for the lovely Selling Sammy.
Woo! So great to be working with you, and it's lovely to be able to introduce you already. We've been obviously kind of chatting for month or so, getting everything in place and all of that stuff, making sure that we know what we're doing. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Please say, I can see I've got my phone up as well, and I can see that people are starting to join. So please say hello in the comments. Would love to see who's around. This is Abi. Great to have you here.
Hello, everybody. Can't see anybody coming on comments yet, but no doubt they will.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Teresa. I can see you on my phone. Please do say hi in the comments if you'd like to. Good morning. So Abi is our new team member, and Abi is based, we were just chatting actually, it's just, am I right in saying it's just outside, it's Maidenhead, isn't it?
Yeah. I like to say it's near Windsor.
Yeah, it's near Windsor, yeah. I was going to say it's just outside Slough, but near Windsor is a great one.
Thank you.
And Abi is based, so Abi's based there, but you are doing business development for London. Exciting. Which we've never fully covered before, so that's great to be able to offer that service now. And Surrey, Hampshire and Berkshire. And Abi's going to be meeting all of the lovely clients and everything, and then I'm going to be delivering the workshops and mentoring and everything. So we'll be working really closely together. Some exciting things in the pipeline.
Very exciting. Judith,
Hi,
we've got
Judith.
online.
Happy 2021 to you as well. Not that it's serving us up much consolation just yet. I know.
No, but she's put a good sign. Keep smiling. Absolutely, Judith. Keep smiling.
Keep smiling. We're still smiling. We're getting there. Lovely to have you guys on. So today, Abi is talking to us, and we're going to chip in about walking away from a piece of business. Do you want to maybe start, Abi, by telling us about your background, your experience?
Yeah. So, hi everybody. My background is director of sales. I've been director of sales for probably up to about 15 years. So I've been in hotels pretty much all my working career for my sins. And it's quite an apt discussion that we're talking about is walking away from the sales deal, because as salespeople, you don't like to walk away from sales deal. So pretty much the whole of my life I've been in sales and gone from every single avenue of hotels. So from reception I've done to spa, to admin, to meetings and events, to coordinator, to events manager, sales manager, then director of sales, and then moved on.
It's useful to be able to get insight into all the different departments, and I feel like that really makes you learn how to be a better salesperson, because you know how everything integrates together.
Absolutely. Yeah. So pretty much all my life, everyone, it's been in sales, majority director of sales.
Amazing. And then you branched out on your own, took the leap.
I branched out. I jumped the leap of faith. So that's probably 4 years ago now, and on my own totally, venue finding company, Gold Crest Events, for the last 2 years. Absolutely brilliant. Great 2019, and then I was going to say some rude word. Look what happened last year, but a positive, I'm working with Kate now, so there you go. Yay. So I can put my sales skills into working with Selling Savvy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, we won't dwell on last year too much, but this topic actually came about from a team meeting with the 5 of us last week, and we kind of all realised that we'd all walked away from something in different kind of avenues, I guess, throughout our career, throughout our life. And we talked about, for those of you who are self-employed or running your own business who are watching, we talked about that moment when you first hand you're noticing, and the sort of drive home being like, I have nothing, I have no job to go to now, this is it. So that's where this kind of topic came from, really. And Abby's going to be talking to us about walking away specifically from a piece of business, and then please do chat in. Hi Becky and Amanda are watching, and hi Jill, good morning. Please do check in with your experiences, whether you've had to walk away from things before, how it felt. Was it really difficult? Was it the best thing in the long run, or maybe was it the wrong decision to make? So yeah, let us know. And over to you, Abby.
Okay, hi. So I think the first thing I need to sort of really talk about is walking away from a sale is often counter to the natural instincts of a salesperson. However, any long-term return on investment isn't really worth you carrying on with that particular client. And as we were talking about it, walking away is the best move, but it's hard, and it's really hard for salespeople. There's several underlying things that you can look for to determine when is the actual time to walk away. As a salesperson, we're obviously paid to do the sales for the hotels or for whatever company you're working for, not only to talk to prospects, it's actually knowing when the right time is to actually walk away. Any hour spent with a prospect who isn't going to make a decision, who isn't going to give you the sales, that's time that you can't actually get back yourself. When we're all new to sales, we're all out there thinking, yeah, I'm going to get a sale. There's a strong compulsion to chase after every single opportunity that comes your way. That's a natural instinct. So from what we're talking about, it's the opposite. It's an opposite to your natural instinct of a salesperson. So what I'm going to go through today is just...
I was just going to say, it's interesting how you're right. You do sort of feel like you want to go for everything and take the bull by the horns with everything. I definitely feel like that. And to be disciplined enough to sit back is really difficult, isn't it?
It is. And it's, as I say, it's not the natural instinct of a salesperson. So what I'm going to sort of chat about now is specifically really for venues and hotels, but you can adapt that to any individual business that you're actually running, even outside of the event industry. So whether you're a supplier or not. So walking away from a piece of business, we've all done it at some sort of stage in our careers, but it's infuriating. It is infuriating. We don't like it. Believe me, I've done it. I've been DOS in hotels for several years, and now, like Kate mentioned, running my own business. And believe me, it's the hardest thing in a sales role to walk away. But you'll know when it's worth it, worth your time, the resources, but more importantly, your wallet. And you'll know at that time whether it's worth you doing it or not. But it can be really sad and hard to actually say, do you know what? Is this really worth my time anymore? You need to put your valued time into a client or a buyer that's actually genuine and that wants to spend money with you. We spend a lot of time working hard and ensuring that everything is going right. And eventually it does actually dawn on you that it has been a waste of your valued time. And it's only you as a salesperson that will get the gut feeling, is it right or is it not? And it's normally your gut feeling.
It's so interesting to look back, or even keep like a productivity kind of diary or something, and look back and you'll realise how much time you can spend on things that aren't bringing in the revenue, because at the end of the day, business needs to bring in money. Yeah, so it's fascinating to do that. That's actually what we start our 6-month mentoring packages with, a 2-week diary analysis. We're like, right, what are you doing? Where are you spending your time? And looking at outsourcing a lot of it as well, so that you can understand where you can be a bit more savvy.
Bit more savvy. Like that. But then also you can look at it as a different way. I've sort of looked a little bit, I very much think outside the box and the bigger picture. So if you do have to decide to walk away from a prospect booking, you don't need to walk away forever. It's just that actual piece of business. And I'm specifically putting this now down for events and the hotel industry. You can come back to them in a few months' time. You never know, the situation may change. So you're probably only walking away from that specific event. Keep in contact with them. It's not a matter of you're walking away from that client for a long time because that business doesn't fit your particular hotel and venue at the time. It may fit in 6 months' time, or they keep that relationship going. You don't have to walk away from the bigger picture. That particular, yes, you need to walk away. So the tricky thing, signals of an unprofitable buyer as soon as possible, so you can exit the solution or the situation. And often this is the best course of action for yourself, for your hotel, for your venue, and sometimes for your prospective client. So the person that you're wasting their time as well as you're wasting your own time. And it's far better to actually say, listen, I don't think it's actually going to work.
Totally. And in terms of being a moral salesperson, then absolutely agree. That's the best thing to do. And also, I think going one step further to say, I don't think it's going to work. Perhaps we don't. I don't know. Our businesses don't align. However, let me introduce you to these people who it would work really well with. So going that one step further. Oh, sorry if I taken what you were going to say.
No. You can tell we're salespeople, can't you?
Yeah. I think it pushes you that step further into building those relationships and being trusted and looked up to in the industry. Yeah. That's a total different.
Yeah, that's a total different subject to go on to, building relationships.
Walking
away and building a relationship, but they work hand in hand. So one of the things I brought up is relentlessly more for the hotels and venues is price focused. We always come across negotiating. Can we go this low, etc. It's typical really for a business client of ours to enter a purchasing situation. They're always looking for the right deal. We do it in our personal life. I do, definitely. And I think when you're in sales, you do always try and barter people down. And that's what you're going to get from clients in venues and hotels. This is where...
Bringing in the event suppliers, I think that this is perhaps even more difficult because people try and barter with you. And you know your profit and loss and what your kind of break even point is. And when you just need to pay the mortgage, it's really tempting to be like, do you know what, I'll just take it because I need that however much over the next month. But it's like you say, keeping that bigger strategy in mind all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. But for sort of going back onto the hotel industry, you can work very closely and you must work very closely with the revenue manager. They're there for a reason. They know how to yield the business. If anybody's listening, they're sales coordinators or sales managers. Sometimes the yielding comes at a later stage when you're a director of sales. However, talk to your revenue manager. That's what they're there for, revenue. They will actually say to you, listen, Kate, listen, Abby, walk away. We can't take that one. And going back to it, that's when they sort of think, well, okay, I've got to walk away from it. They're there to really basically help with your deals. Just work with them. And like I say, revenue and sales, they do work hand in hand. It's obviously hand in hand. Primary challenge for us in hotel sales is to try and shift your focus from the price. So if you're thinking, hang on a minute, the price is right, am I going to have to walk away from this? Go on to the quality, the benefits, the value that they're actually going to get from the hotels before you actually press that let's walk away from this deal. And it's usually your buyer or your client is still focused on the price. However, because he or she doesn't understand the value and the what you're offering, like a 5-star hotel, they don't see it from that side. You say, well, you're getting this, you're getting that. There is obviously always an idea of trying, or a way of getting across to people that it's not just the price before you have to pay that walk away client card. But unfortunately, some clients are unwilling to budge. And despite sort of the clear differentiation in the quality, you just have to walk away, basically. Also, it's important that the client that you're actually having, which is where you work with your general manager and revenue, and whether put that onto the suppliers side of it as well, you may have a partner that you're working with, discuss it. Is it right that we don't take this piece of business? Because not all business is going to be right for your business. And yes, the hierarchy, if you're working with a partner or a general manager, they obviously looking at their wallet at the end of the day. Instead, it's usually better that a buyer experiences the drawbacks of you saying no to that piece of business, but there's always a possibility that you can actually go back to them. And sometimes they appreciate that, you being honest if you have to walk away. So the next thing to talk about really is no urgency. So if you have clients, and this will work in any industry, you find it's very challenging for salespeople to walk away specifically from a sale where the client is not showing an interest so much, or they're not returning your calls, they're not coming back to you after a proposal. They're in no hurry to decide or face no sense of urgency. That's another area where you just say, am I wasting my time? Why am I keeping emailing this person? Why am I picking the phone up? I could be going up to someone else.
I would say that is the number, or in the top 3 questions I get asked in training sessions. How often, or how do I phrase it? How long do I keep chasing for before I give up?
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and it's completely dependent on the inquiry, on your yielding, on the relationship with the client. There's so many factors to it, but sometimes you're right. You just need to say, I'm done.
Yeah, I would also put deadlines. I would always put a deadline. It work in all industries. It works very, very differently. But in the hotel, we all know, people that are listening in sales now, you do a queue system. So you're on first option, you're on second option. Don't waste your time on the first option. Give them a deadline. Tell you have to walk away from that piece of business. And even if your second piece of business is not quite as good, at least they're probably going to make a decision probably a little bit quicker than your option number 1.
So we've got some comments here. Becky's saying that you need a good strategy that's easy to understand, definitely. And you need to filter that strategy down, if you're working with a team, into the team so that they understand it, not because junior team members should be making these kinds of decisions, but because they need to understand it's the only way they'll learn and grow. They just need to understand what the overall plan is, rather than saying we don't want that piece of business. Really explain the reasons why and the strategy behind it.
Yeah. And you can also sort of ask additional. Go on.
Just to say, Lynette says, I love my revenue team.
Yes.
We're all geeks over here.
Lynette, I think sometimes when I was working back in director of sales, it was more the commercial team and the ops team that I didn't really get on with, because as a salesperson, I'd squeeze 120 and 100, and the revenue people would be saying to me, yeah, go on, I'm sure we can do it, but the ops team won't. And that's another walk away question.
Yeah, watch out, everyone, for a Savvy Says, where we've got a guest speaker. I won't announce it yet, in a few weeks, who's the specific topic is going to be the relationship between sales and ops.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting.
I love that one. I've had many a fight in my life over ops and sales.
I know, me too.
But going on to...
You need to walk away. Last comment, because it's the sort of business you want, or it's going to be demanding toxic relationship. Yeah. And
I'm going to go on to that in a second. It's a gut feeling, yeah, and I think you will know that as an experienced salesperson. You will actually know that. But I think, just going back to the no urgency from the client, I just think, okay, as I've just mentioned, you probably lose that piece of business, and you're happy to walk away from that piece of business. But call them back in 6 months' time. You build a relationship. You will probably get that back in 6 months. Their budget changes. So you walked away from one because it didn't fit your business model, or it didn't fit the yielding with the hotel or whatever industry you're in. Come back to them. Put you in your diary for 6 months' time. You you get them back. They may suddenly have a great business coming in 6 months' time. And I think, yeah, okay, yeah, I've got a bit more money. Let's go back to Abi, or let's go back to Kate, or whoever. Yeah. So it's really sort of looking at, don't be too short-sightedness. Look at the bigger picture. The other one, we're running out of time, aren't we? The other one is meeting your requirements in a hotel. So in some cases, your venue may not align up to the needs and demands of your clients. You know what your hotel venue is. You know what your product is as being a supplier. So ideally, avoiding any situation where you gut feeling thinks, okay, I really can't squeeze that client into that space. Their layout doesn't work, or etc. Just walk away from it. You have to walk away from it. When you don't have a solution for clients' requirements, there's pretty much little gain by being dishonest and promising something that you can't deliver, and forcing that sale when you know inevitably it could end up resulting in a complaint later on. It's best to say, yeah, and you'll lose the client. You lose the client long term. Just be honest and say, I really cannot squeeze you in on that layout. I can't do that if I'm a supplier. I really cannot do that. It doesn't fit my business model, or sort of whatever on a supplier side of it. Walking away then is the best option in the long run. You'll be more honest. They'll thank you for being more honest, and they'll come back to you. So it's just thinking outside the box. Do not walk away from that particular piece of business, but don't walk away from the whole bigger picture. And on that note, sort of, I would never overpromise and underdeliver. Walking away from that is much better than actually delivering it and getting a complaint. So really, before I go on to my main 5, which I might just have to sort of juggle a few more because I'm running out of time. Like any industry, hospitality or whatever industry you're in, you can adapt all these walking away scenarios to whatever, because we may have listeners here that are thinking, well, I'm not a hotel or a venue, maybe a supplier. Adapt it. You can still use, once you're a salesperson, you can sell sand to a desert man, you can sell milk to a milkman. So you can adapt yourself in any sort of industry. But one thing from my experience is, don't feel bad about walking away from a situation. Put a positive in a negative. So that piece of business didn't work. Keep on with the client. Keep in touch with them. You will get that piece of business back, and you may get even a better piece of business back. You've just walked away from one piece of business that didn't fit at that time.
Yeah, totally agree. Somebody's on the Selling Savvy Facebook saying, don't overpromise and underdeliver. Don't know.
Okay.
I think that might be fun. Yeah, I love it.
That's exactly what I've just said. Don't overpromise and underdeliver.
That's
a true
sale. Exactly the same time.
Yeah,
I would say don't underpromise, just promise and overdeliver. Yeah. You don't want to underpromise either, because you want to get the sale, but you always want to overdeliver, don't you?
Yeah. Another reason as well is your competitors. Big flashing light for all venues and hotels and suppliers. Every single person has a competitor on this earth. There's always competitors that will undercut your prices. And this is when you work closely with your revenue manager for hotels, venues, or your partner in whatever business you've got. They're fully trained for pricing right and yielding the business, which is what I've mentioned before. Your competitors may have a completely legitimate reason for undercutting your prices. And it's always best for salespeople to ask. Maybe sometimes you don't get the reply that you want. They'll probably say, no, I don't want to tell you what the other hotels are offering. They may, and this will happen on your side as well as the competitor side, they may have had an event cancelled at short notice. They can actually then undercut you. So they'll be saying to you, to the hotel or venue, what did so-and-so give you? And I say, okay, we'll go one better, because they're desperate. But then you just have to walk away because it's not going to fit you. Mm-hmm. There again, you can actually call them back. That's a warm lead, so call them back. You never know. Like I've mentioned before, the budgets may change. Yeah, competitors are a big part of why you walk away from a deal. Think, well, okay, let them have the rubbish piece of business. Let them put X amount of bums in beds and that, but it's not right for me. I'm going to go after the better one. So just walk away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But put your head high.
Move, isn't it? But hold your head high. Yeah, that's nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any more questions coming through?
You've got 5 tips in 5 minutes to, haven't you, to finish up?
So I've done competitors. That budget is another one. If it doesn't fit your budget, you can actually walk away. If your hotel is a poor fit, be honest, like I've mentioned. But there again, I think whether I've also touched a point on that is before you play the walk away card, ask them the questions of, can you change your layout? Or can you do this? Or specifically put that to your industry, obviously. Have you thought of X, Y, Z? So just because you think, oh, really, I can't fit that in. So if you're not fully trained as a director of sales, you probably don't think outside the box as much as what we do. So you'll have a client coming to you and saying, I need 80 people for a boardroom style. And they'll say, well, okay, in that particular room, no, we can't do that. Ask them, can they change the layout?
80 boardroom would be a bloody big room.
Yeah. But change it to theatre. You can get far more in a theatre. Just ask them the actual questions before you play that. Let me walk away from that.
Exhausting all options is definitely important before making that decision.
And the other I haven't touched on is, which I suppose is a little bit of wasting your time and putting your time onto better clients, is getting the right contact. You sometimes with hotel staff, you're not actually talking to the decision maker, the actual booker of that event. Are you wasting your time? If they won't put you onto the booker of the actual event, you say, well, okay, can I actually speak to Kate, please? Kate is the events director or the events manager. And if they keep saying, no, I'm dealing with it, is it really worth it? You're not speaking to the event booker.
Yeah, there's a middleman. That's tricky.
Yeah, so sort of walk away if you just think you're not gonna get anywhere. Yeah.
Thank you, Abi.
That's quite all right.
What a busy half an hour.
It is. Can I just recap to go through that half an hour, finish it all off? Don't ever feel bad about walking away from a sales piece of business. Always think positive. True salespeople will always, okay, swear, go and get yourself a cup of coffee, go and find another piece of business. Draw a line underneath it. Yeah, you've lost that one. Positive, right, come on, let me go and get another one. And believe me, that next deal will be a better deal the one that you've actually walked away from. So always think positive.
There is enough business to go round. The events industry is vast. So that's a good point. Don't worry about it. And this is all very translatable into your into a non-work scenario, into your private life, or into it doesn't have to just be sales deals, it can be collaborations or partnerships or anything. So it's worth kind of exhausting all options, like we said, making sure it's the right business fits with your strategy. And your gut says a lot sometimes. If you've just got a gut feeling, you can go with it full force, or you can walk away from it. So yes, thank you so much, Abi. What an introduction to Abi as part of the team. Really, really interesting, and such a great topic as well. We could talk for ages about it.
It is a great topic, and I think being a salesperson, you can always talk about how to do this and how to do that. And I think in my experience, if I can help anybody through Selling Savvy, get onto the training programs, get onto the mentoring. We've all been there. Claire's just come on. You're a bit late, Claire. Come on, darling. You just got out of bed.
Hi, Claire. Nice to see you here. Charlotte says, Thank you. Lovely to have you on, Charlotte. Kate, Renata couldn't log on. Don't worry. So all of the Savvy Says stay on on the Selling Savvy Facebook page. They all get uploaded to Instagram and to our YouTube channel as well. So the content goes everywhere. So Renata, feel free to log on to YouTube and watch it on there and shout about it if you like to. I was thinking this is the second Savvy Says of the year, and obviously we'll be planning to do about 50 if we take out the Christmas break at the end of the year. So there'll be loads of stuff that we'll be going through. We've got lots of guest speakers lined up in the next few weeks as well, or the next month or so. Next week, we are talking about negativity and negative words to avoid using. And this is one of my favourite topics. I know a business who got rid of all of the negative words from their vocabulary and their turnover increased by 30%. So it really is fascinating, the ins and outs of it. So we're going to be talking about that next week, Savvy Says. And one of the teams kindly put in the chat as well that we're running burst sales mentoring on Tuesday, so in a few days, Tuesday on the 19th, 15 minutes, completely free, one-to-one mentoring sessions with one of the team where you can come and ask us anything about sales, about business management or team management. So yeah, the link's in the comments. So please do book on. We've got the most we've ever had, I think, at the moment. So spaces are going. But yeah, that'd be really good. Thank you so much. So great to have you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm sure they'll all listen to it if I haven't managed to have time to come on board this morning. But yeah, all come on board with Selling Savvy. They're amazing.
Oh,
we're here to help.
Yeah, we're here to help, exactly. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Yeah, let's crack open the gin now. No. See you later.
Bye.